Yes, good afternoon. It's the Suzette Speak Show. How we doing? Wagwan, wagwan to my folks in South Florida and around the world. Welcome. It's such a joy to be with you on this Throwback Old School Thursday. First of all, I want to shout out the one and the only Humble Lion. Listen, that mix with the old school Shabba Rankin put me in the mood. You know how we do it on Voice of the Caribbean Thursdays. It's throwback. So if you like old school reggae, soca, dancehall, even the R&B and souls, this is the time to listen. Trust and believe our DJs be on it, as you heard on the midday mix with Humble Lion. Well, now it's time for yours truly, Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest. I come to you live every Thursday and Friday, as I call it, Friday, every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We talk hot topics. Listen, I have some topics for you today. I want to talk dancehall, so I'm glad Humble Lion had a little dancehall fusion going on with his old school mix. Cause trust and believe, said I am in the trenches kind of considering what's happening with dancehall music right now. If you didn't know, there is an amazing new Riddim. We're going to talk a little other stuff. I know President Trump is in China right now on a China tour. We can't talk about that. I also want to touch on the Kevin Hart special. Did you watch the roast of Kevin Hart? Well, that's tearing up the internet, and I have some thoughts on it. I did watch it. Struggled. Let me say, struggled to watch it Monday, Tuesday. I was Monday me watch it. I was half working, half listening, but I watched some of the Kevin Hart. I got some thoughts on it, and but I want to start with what I see, splashy dashy all over the social media, zeitgeist all over the place is the discussion on this rhythm that we hear in dance hall. And again, it's a revived rhythm. I know Mikey Mike talked about it a little bit. But yours truly, I have been in love with this rhythm since I've heard it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you like, Suzette, what are you talking about? Again, you might not be in the dance hall scene. Some of us stayed in it. Some of us, I'm not gonna say I'm deep in it like that, right? I listen to dance hall, but I some of the the newer trap dance hall and stuff, not really my thing either. But I am I would say a dancehall music aficionado. I was there from the beginning, not I guess from the 70s, but I say the 90s, 2000 dancehall. That's my dancehall, and I really enjoyed that our genre of music from Jamaica in the Caribbean. However, I'm going to talk about a rhythm that is now very popular. It just busts. Them call it Hill and Gully rhythm, Hill and Gully summer. That's what they're saying it's called. Hill and Gully is an old school, very classic. I say old school, and I really should use the word historic rhythm of mento, a type of Jamaican folklore sound. It's similar to calypso. It's not calypso, but it has its roots in our ancestry from those who work the soil, work the, we don't use a common term, plantations, but that's what it was when it was enslaved Africans brought to the New World to work the sugarcane fields and other agricultural crops. They had the one outlet they had was how they dealt with the violence, the oppression, and the sadness of their circumstance. One way that we have learned that they were able to deal with and cope with the horrific and just the terrible circumstances they found themselves in due to the I call it the European slave trade because the Atlantic Ocean didn't enslave anybody. It's not the Atlantic slave trade, it's the European. But anyway, this genre of music comes off to us from the folk times, from the old times as pre 1900 in the Caribbean. Now, the son of Freddie McGregor, Stephen DeGenius, that's what he goes by, DeGenius McGregor, has revived this rhythm. I want to say, I enjoy this Hill and Gully take of the old time songs. It is beautiful to me. He's done a beautiful job mastering it and adding to it his own spice, his own flavor. But there is some controversy, around it. And the internet streets and the printed word, I would say, in articles just now written in the Jamaican Gleaner. I've seen a lot of YouTube and Instagram and TikTok posts and commentary by just people, Jamaicans, Jamaican Americans, people who have love for the Jamaican culture and are trying to make sense of what this means for our culture. Now, there's one side that has been enjoying the Hill and Gully. I'm going to play a little bit of it. I'm not a DJ. Y'all know I'm not a DJ. I'm over here trying to make sense of the world for you. Again, this is the Suzette Speak Show. The time check is 1:12. Hey. And we're here in the studio just talking. I'm going to get to the Kevin Hart roast. I'm going to get to some news headlines. There's so much going on in the world of politics here in the United States with the redistricting fight. I've told you over and over again, this is not a short-term battle. This is a very drawn-out, long-term battle that has negatively affected many of our, listening areas. We know that when we are seeing a drawdown or a blockade even of voting rights, it is not a good sign. And I know, again, in the Suzette Speak Show, the opinions expressed are that of the host, our guest, our college. You can call me 850-446-0562. Express yourself. But when it comes to redistricting, I'm going to talk about it a lot more. But today I said, you know what, I don't want to do too heavy. I've been watching the news, and again, I'm always trying to find something that indicates where the society is going and reflective of how we're feeling. But one of the things that I saw in entertainment, the two big stories I saw in entertainment are what's going on with the Hill and Gully Riddim coming out of Jamaica. And the other one, that on the U.S. side, I'm seeing a lot of commentary about the Kevin Hart roast. It's on Netflix. And I have some thoughts about it. Again, a roast is, a traditional comedy, I don't want to call it ritual, but it's a custom where usually people who have a very intimate knowledge of the honoree, if you will, are the ones making jokes, and the jokes can be rough and very, very, oh my goodness, over the edge, as it was in this one. But there are some people that say, give it a break. It was a roast. That's what a roast is, right? People who are pushing the envelope, telling jokes, and the punchline is, and the cruelty, some even argue, is the point. But there are a lot of folks in the Black community who are listening to these jokes, so-called jokes anyway, during the Kevin Hart roast, and they were thoroughly offended. Now, I was listening to it. I did think that they went a little bit too far on some of the jokes, because you're listening to people, instead of, to me, having a little bit more sophistication over cruelty, they're making fun of people's skin tone, skin color. Poor Cheryl Underwood, a wonderful comedian, actress, talk show host, TV host in her own right, received a lot of the brunt of the ire, right? What these comedians said about her. Some people were like, this is really over the line. This is really over the edge. So we're going to talk Kevin Hart. Did you watch it? Will you be watching it? It is something that I find that is, again, something a little bit too taboo. I was actually looking for some clips to play, and there are so many offensive words in all the clips. I didn't want to go too deep into it. I was saying to myself, let me play some reaction instead. But let me see what I could cue up on the Kevin Hart roast. What did you think? Did you watch it? And are you going to cancel your Netflix subscription for those who are highly offended? There were jokes about George Floyd and his death. Remember the gentleman who had his life taken at the hands of police officers for having a knee on his neck and asphyxiated him in front of cameras for 9 minutes? Remember that? And that started the uprising of 2020 during the pandemic, when people slowed down enough and were off from work enough and could pay attention to what was happening in our society. Remember this? Yeah, jokes were made about that, and it was, again, distasteful for a lot of people. Some people are calling Kevin Hart a quote-unquote, not my words, I didn't say I agree with it, but calling Kevin Hart a so-called sellout, which is a very, very provocative way of saying, are you for sale to others outside of your community? Do you care what is said about your community? And are you sensitive to the fact that there are some lines that you can't cross? And are we normalizing through this type of roast racism? And I think there is a a deeper argument to be had about this and deeper discussion to be had about this, because there are people who have listened to Kevin Hart. And again, I'm not a big Kevin Hart comedic fan. I'm not a person that's gonna listen, go watch every Kevin Hart movie. That's just me. His type of comedy is not really my type of comedy. I always found it a little bit slapstickish. It's not really sophisticated. I like thinking comedy. I like a Dave Chappelle for sure, storyteller who, is developing ideas and critiques and observations about people and about society and about how we think and, what we call normal, and having you maybe, reevaluate what's really happening. I like that type of comedy. But some people like the rough and the what they call it, more raw, raunchy, them kind of comedy. Did a little bit. Some people call that disgraceful. So I don't know if you watched it. I did sit through the whole thing. I saw Cat Williams. I think Cat Williams was probably the realest person up there, and it was a surprise to many because Cat Williams and Kevin Hart are known to have had a beef, if you will, big man thing, disagreement, don't get along. And so for Cat Williams to be appear, I think was like the biggest surprise. And but some of the people that got the microphone, there were a lot of things said again, anti-black, racist style of comedy. And again, it a way to justify, because it's Kevin Hart, all the things that you want to say about one group of people, and so we say it and we call it comedy, or the other train of thought, and I saw a lot on social media how racist this was. This is unacceptable. This is normalizing racism. How dare you allow the producers of the show, Netflix, the owner of the show, how dare you allow them to approve and write what they wrote and deliver it to a worldwide audience of billions of people? What is this normalizing? So there's a lot to be said about the Kevin Hart roast. Like I said, I sat through it. Kind of was while I was working because I wanted to be able to give you guys a take on it, but it was difficult. Some of the parts was difficult to listen to. It was not just a ouch. It was like a what? It was deep cuts, not like stuff I could generally laugh off. But people are saying that is a roast. That is what a roast is, and I'm just like, they go there. They're cruel. They're below the belt, way below the belt. But I don't know. I don't know. Netflix paid a lot of money to a lot of people about for this, but a lot. Yeah. I'll get back to the Kevin Hart, but first let's get into the Hill and Gully. This is the Suzette Speak Show. I'm gonna play a little bit of a Hill and Gully for the people watching me on the YouTube side. Welcome, everybody on the YouTube side. If you are watching us on Twitch, shout out to everybody watching us on Twitch, on YouTube, and around the world on our website, Voice of the Caribbean, or on our app. Did you know that Caribbean is an app? You can download the app. Yes, you can take us wherever you go, whether that's on your phone, on your laptop. I have it on my laptop, actually. I listen to us while we work, right? You're not necessarily close to a radio. You can't always listen at your desk, right, or on your phone. Voice of the Caribbean is an app. There are hundreds of thousands of us now with the app, so join us, right? Join the family. Go to the App Store if you have an iPhone or an Android like me, and download Voice of the Caribbean app. We are here for you. And like I said, take us wherever you go. We also want to remind you the big football match. Let's go, let's go. Memorial Day will be here. Whether like ready or not, here it comes. Whether you're ready or not, I can't believe this. Another big headline was that there was a plane crash in the Straits of Florida, like in the Bahamas, with 11 survivors. Did you hear this lady's testimony? Wow. Everybody survived after a plane crash going between two Bahamian islands. They were like on life rafts. This lady said she prayed. This happened yesterday. They were in distress, crash survivors. However, there was no loss of life. They were flown to a hospital. The crash is on investigation. Again, this happened, in the Bahamas. I don't know if you saw this story of 11 survivors. This lady says she prayed, and it's a miracle. And I'm talking about being in an open ocean is not nice, yo. I know I'm going on a cruise. We got to talk about hantavirus. We talked about it at length last week. The hantavirus, again, is not showing any global threat according to authorities, but we have to maintain, vigilance. I'm actually getting ready to go on a cruise later on in the summer. And we did meet with our cruise booking agency and was like, what's going on? They were like, oh, just wash your hands. Keep your sanitizer with you all the time. Before you go to any buffet, you spray. After you get the buffet, you spray. Then take out your knife and fork. Constant hand washing. So I'm like, that is great practice. Good hygiene always wins, right? But they cannot guarantee. They said sometimes, when the ships dock, and this was what my travel agent was explaining to us yesterday when we were, raising concerns, the ladies and I who are going on this trip later in the summer. She was saying that people on smaller ships, when they throw the rope over to the dock in order to tie the ship down to the dock, when they are going to a port, for certain older ships, there were ways in which rodents, mice, rats, etc., could crawl up these ropes into the ship. But they say the larger ships, this is what I learned yesterday, according to my travel agent, not saying this fact, I'm just saying this is what she told us, have ways in which their ropes and their connections are more blocked for small animals and things that would normally try to stow away or come aboard. I don't know. I gotta Google it, but people are still talking about hantavirus. There is contact tracing going on throughout the country, and several people have reported that they have been contacted as a possible for possible exposure. This is like in Washington State and some other places, because remember, on this cruise ship that was originated in Argentina, went to St. Helena. Now I think they're docked in Tenerife in the Canary Islands of Spain. They had a sick passenger 0, unfortunately, who passed away. Looks like he had a version of the hantavirus and didn't know it appeared to be respiratory infection. The doctor on the cruise ship told him this was fine. This happened over the last month, because what happened was there are people that did get off the ship in St. Helena before it was known to be hantavirus. So those people didn't feel well, flew somewhere, and possibly were infected and possibly exposed other people on the plane and at their jobs when they got back home in the state where they live or the other countries where they live. This is a very interesting thing, because many of us who have the COVID PTSD are wondering, can this turn into something crazy? And but health officials are cautioning, they're doing the contact tracing. All who needs to be quarantined are quarantining. Some of the former passengers now back in the United States are quarantining at certain hospitals in the Midwest and things like this, or are being told to quarantine at home. So right now, Hanta is still on our mind. I remember when it was Zika. It's so funny. Something popped up on my Facebook. Facebook reminds you of everything you've ever lived. You can't forget nobody. You can't forget nothing. I saw a news report I gave 10 years ago, crazy, on Zika virus. And at the time, Zika was throughout the Caribbean and South Florida, and it was the biggest, scariest bug virus, if you will. And we were talking about it in the same way. We were like, Zika, mosquito. And I heard, actually, there's been a couple of cases of Zika here in South Florida, and the rainy season is set to begin. Starts, a couple of days. But we do have some moisture finally. We were in quite a drought. South Florida was feeling it. Oh, my goodness. Dry, hot last week. Me sweat. The 90s were upon us, y'all. It was hotter than hot for the last maybe week and a half. But then finally this week, starting on Monday, we got some wonderful showers, cooled us off, helped with the drought. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the 90s. Key West 88, Miami 90, Palm Beach 87, Fort Lauderdale, you up there too. And typically, the high temperature around about now is 86. So we're still up there. Them electricity bills about to be killer, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not looking forward to my electric bill. Yes, everybody's worried already, because it's not even quite good summer. It's not even the hot time of the summer yet. We didn't even start hurricane season. Hurricane season starts June 1st. Listen, everything's around the corner, because we're 2 weeks away from Memorial Day. So speaking of, we want to make sure you're ready for the celebrity football match. Yes, Voice of the Caribbean, in partnership with Just Flex and City of Lauderhill, Vice Mayor Richard Campbell are bringing back the celebrity football match. Yes, Memorial Monday. Go ahead and get your tickets. It's on Eventbrite. You can use my last name, Speaks, right, with an S, Speaks. We for $5 off right now on Eventbrite. Bring the family. We're gonna have vendors. We're gonna have music. Of course, the celebrities are in the building. Our selectors, listen. Everybody from Matt Cobra to Tony Curtis, Christopher Martin, Chuck Fender, Can't Believe, Galaxy P, Mr. Lex, Winnie Wonder. And of course, the selectors, Mikey Mike, what's up, Louis Bree, Super Twitch in the building. Yeah, all of them, all of them. They have fun, and we have multiple games throughout the day, and it's fun. It's hot, but don't worry, we got a lot of food and drink vendors to cool you off, and it's a good time. I wanted to even mention Dexter Daps for the ladies. So tickets are on sale now. We're doing a couple giveaways. I don't know if I have any to give away during my show here. If I do, I'll go ask them if we have any. But you can get your $5 off. Once again, go to Eventbrite and use my last name, Speaks. Yeah, man. The code word, Speaks. SPEAKS. Yeah, Speaks. Use it on Eventbrite, the discount code, and get $5 off, right? Bring the family. It's going to be cool and nice. Lauderhill Sports Complex. That is 7500 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Lauderhill. Again, tickets available on Eventbrite. Just look up Celebrity Football Match, right? Celebrity Football Match. Artists versus selectors. Yeah, man. And we have some friendlies that go on before, some girls' games. Netball is also played on a netball court. Lauderhill Sports Complex is a beautiful facility. So we'll have, like I said, food, vendors, and much more. Lots of music, lots of game, lots of fun for the kids. So make sure you come out. It was a fun time last year. Again, thank you to our partnership with Justiflex and the City of Lauderhill, Vice Mayor Richard Campbell. Listen, celebrity league matches. You got some real ball. Let's say real ballers, not to say the selectors and aren't real ballers, but like actual ballers gonna be there too. It'll be several games, guys, throughout the day. So come and enjoy. Also, we appreciate the Consul General Oliver Mayer for his partnership in this as well. 12 noon to 9 p.m. 12 noon to 9 p.m. Lauderhill Sports Complex. That's Memorial Monday. Listen, I'm gonna be outside all Memorial weekend. Listen, we outside. Time to enjoy life, y'all. We gotta enjoy life. So if you don't have your tickets, get your tickets now. Again, the celebrity football match, artist versus selector, right? You could just look it up, celebrity football match. You can find that on Eventbrite. Use my last name for $5 off. Yes. Promotional code. When they ask you, do you have a discount code? You can use Speaks. Again, we appreciate you rocking with us. We're going to talk more Gully when we come back. Do you think Gully has violated Jamaican tradition? Should it have not been touched? Everybody grew up on the Gully radio. Hey, and the show. Hey, we're going to talk about it. I want to hear what you have to say. You can call me 850-446-0562. We got to take a quick pause for the Cosmore Suzette Speak Show right after this.
The City of Lauderhill, the voice of the Caribbean, and Justiflex presents the annual Celebrity
Thank
Football
you. I appreciate you. How you doing? My voice is kind of dry. They put me on Twitch today. I'm not a Twitchy. Are you guys on Twitch? They talk about it. We gonna be on Twitch today, and we gonna be on some other streamers platform. Good for them. My radio's trying to do stuff. Let's go. Hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. I'm talking something kind of very cultural today because this type of music and beat has a significance. Let me actually Google origins of Hill and Gully. Of Hill and Gully Riddim. Because I didn't know Hill and Gully originated for traditional Jamaican folk mental song deeply rooted in the island's culture as a work song, ring game, and storytelling melody. Often fitted call and response that traditionally represents rural Jamaican life, symbolizing ups and downs of the landscape. Interesting. I wonder if I could play this. I'm gonna play Raul. Okay, good. I'm gonna play Raul. Raul Bays is my homeboy. He does cultural commentary. But I don't want to get too far away from that because I think I don't want this camera is like directly in my nose, and they got me on Twitch like right here. Hey Twitchies. Hi Twitch. I don't know if they're watching me, but this one is like in your nose, like it's too close. I'll be turning it up. That's too much. It's too high, bro. It's too high. They know they can they need to stop putting on rotate. They keep putting it on rotate. I do not want these close-up shots of my nose in Twitch. Thanks, guys. Anyway, Hill and Gully Ride. Oh, but I gotta play. I gotta act like a DJ real quick. I might have to mute you guys to play it because I don't want to get copyright strike. Because I gotta play the song for the people. So as I come back from a break, I'm gonna mute real quick. Can I mute? Oops. Okay, I'll know how to mute when I play it because I don't want to get copyright on YouTube. But we gotta play the Hill and Gully Radio. And I love it. It's a folk. It's like bringing people back to their heritage of working in the field. But I want Stephen. The AC is like drying on my throat. My God. All right, we're doing all right though. Hope you guys are having a beautiful Friday. We're just doing the commercials. I didn't want to get copyright.
The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
We're back. Wagwan, everybody. This is the Suzette Speak Show. So happy that you're here, and I'm grateful that you're listening to Voice of the Caribbean with me every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I bring you hot topics, news, sometimes politics, but today we're talking culture. If you guys have been following what's going on the social media streets, well, there are two big stories. The first one is the Kevin Hart roast. What did you think about it? Did you think it was offensive? Did you think Kevin Hart sold out, so to speak, when the jokes seemed to be disgraceful, says some? If you see the comments on social media, the folks are not happy, let me tell you, especially within lots of our communities of color. They thought Kevin Hart's roast was distasteful, to say the least, but downright racist, to put it into their perspective. There are others that say that a roast is a roast and you're allowed to, go, beyond the pale, that you don't have to be proper and treat everybody with respect because it's a roast. If you're missing the whole point of it, that's what a comedy roast is, customarily like. So people punch below the belt. People are even cruel at times, and that's a part of the roast culture. Well, there are people saying that this is normalizing racism, and if you have watched it, I have. I did watch it Monday night or Monday towards the late afternoon into the evening so I could talk about it. I was not impressed. Again, I am not a Kevin Hart fan like that. I will admit. I don't watch all his movies. I don't, if he's coming out for a show, I'm not like running to the box office. It's not my style of comedy in general. But watching it, like I said, I thought he could have had better roasters, like people who actually knew him in an in-depth way. And I think there were some selections that people thought were questionable. And some jokes. I'm talking about selections as far as the roasters, the people who got up and told jokes about him. Good afternoon. If you're watching online, if you're watching on Twitch, well, one. If you're watching on YouTube, big up yourself. You can follow me, Suzette Speaks, 1Z, 2 T's, Speaks with an S. Suzette Speaks on all platforms. Also follow us, the Voice of the Caribbean, as well on all platforms. We keep you updated with news from throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world. Here in South Florida especially, of course, but all up and down the United States, we got stuff going on. So we talk about it here. And one of the things that, like I said, I want to keep it a little lighter today is really bugging a lot of people is that there has been this revival of an old-time Jamaican folk song or tune. And some people are saying it's not being handled with enough care. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me put you on game. Certainly, there are people who have given up on dancehall and don't listen to it. They only go back to the 90s and 2000s dancehall for what they call original dancehall. But there is a certain rhythm that has just come out, produced by Grammy Award-winning producer Stephen DeGenius is what he goes by, McGregor. He's Freddie McGregor's son. And there were people who have been lauding and applauding this new rhythm because it takes off of the Hill and Gully, the Hill and Gully melody that is well known throughout Jamaica. And some of the origins of it are, from agricultural living, right? Where does the Hill and Gully come from? Hill and Gully Ride, as they call it. I remember going to Jamaica as a child and watching the television there was only like a couple of stations. And I remember that show, Hilangali Raino, like coming on, and it was like a big deal. And I remember listening to that also intro on radio and thinking that was a part of, cultural preservation that was, very, very worthy. Well, because Hilangali Ride originated from, Jamaican traditional folk and mento singing, and is deeply rooted in the island's culture of like work songs from being on the plantation, and the ring games and the storytelling melodies that involve excuse me, like a call and response. Let me drink a little water here. mm. That it represents something bigger, right? Rural Jamaican life, right? Symbolizing the ups and downs of the valley. Well, there are people that are saying that Stephen McGregor's new take, now this isn't the first person to have remixed Hill and Gully, right, is in a way mishandling what is what can I say, sacred space in Jamaican culture. Now I will play. Now I'm not a DJ, Mikey Mine. I'm not a DJ. I'm Suzette Speaks. That's what I do. I talk, right? I talk. But I'm gonna play a little bit of Hill and Gully so you can hear what the rhythm is done, and you tell me. I'm just gonna play the instrumental because the problem comes in with some of the artists, the DJs, who have now put songs on this beautiful rhythm that some are arguing are quite distasteful. In our vernacular, we would say it's a little bit slack, right? That it does not, it's unbecoming of the culture of which this rhythm represents. So I'm gonna play a little Hill and Gully. I'm not a DJ, y'all. I'm just gonna play it because I like it. And straight up, I want you to just tell me what you think. And I can't play some of the DJ songs because they have a little bit of an innuendo, if you will, if you get what I'm talking about. They're talking about a man and woman thing, and how people are expressive when it comes to that in dance hall. But I am, I like the rhythm and what the rhythm means to preserving culture, right? So I'm gonna play a little bit of it. I'm gonna mute you guys on my YouTube channel. I don't want to be copyrighted, but let me play a little bit of it here. Actually, I don't have to mute you. I'm gonna play it here. Let me see if I can get it on the Hill and Gully side. You hear it? Hear it? This is what it sounds like. Hey. Give me dinky minute. Hey. I'll move the hips. Hey. Y'all remember it? Hey. Hey. Pull it up, Susie. Pull it up, Susie. Do your thing, Susie. I'm not a DJ, y'all. I'm not a DJ, y'all. But I enjoy my dance hall. Dance hall. On the rhythm. Hey, right the rhythm. Hey. This is the new Hilangoli. If you guys don't know this music, this is mental music. And we have a new take on it from, like I said, Freddie McGregor, son, Stephen, the genius McGregor. All right, pull that up, pull that up, pull it up, selector. Anyway, your girl is not really good at DJing, but I had to give you a taste of it so you know what I'm talking about. So you know that is Hill and Gully, right? But, it comes from an older version of music called mento music, right? So when we listen to the mento, I'll play the original, play a little piece of the original. So in case you don't know, let's educate some of the younger people. This is where it comes from. Hear that mento beat. Hey, 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 hey. Like the mento. This is where it comes from. The classic mento rhythm, yeah? That's what we call Hill Gully, right? Comes from hey, hey, hey. Money bend down low. I'm over here doing my dinky mini. Hey, hey. All right, so I'm giving you the, hey, y'all know it now. So that was the original, the mento, and then we hear what the genius Stephen McGregor did with the new beat. Now I will draw from. Let me draw from coming straight out of Jamaican commentary. When the beat first came in, the rhythm first came in, right? There was some appreciation coming from the writers, for example, of the Jamaican Gleaner. This was on April 30th. The rhythm is that new, right? A couple weeks old. It's just been put out there. So when we look at what the Gleaner wrote here, multi Grammy award winning producer Stephen the Genius McGregor is excited about his newest Riddim, Hill and Gully, which is a spin off of the original Mental song and rhythm of the same name. According to the Gleaner, Stephen McGregor says, I was, quote, just trying to tap into the Jamaican culture on a deeper level, and I thought that no one really went into mental and that kind of thing. So I wanted to see how I could merge that world with the new people and kind of just reintroduce that part of the culture. This is what Stephen McGregor told the Gleaner. He subsequently called on several artists to play a role in infusing new energy and vibe into the rhythm. And last Friday, this was like 2 weeks ago, the first track, now this is where it gets a little controversial, was produced by my DJ. I also love his music, Masika, right? Masika produced the first official release. Now there's a lot of unofficial releases. You know, Jamaicans love a dub. They got a rhythm, so they're gonna put their own song on top of it. But we're talking about official releases. So Masika comes out with the song Slip and Slide. I saw you slip, I saw you slide. And I can't even sing the second verse because Masika single, though, you know, a little bit controversial, a little bit risque, let's say. The single went straight to number one on iTunes, right, at the top of the Reggae 100 charts. So people was feeling it. People are feeling it. Trust me. I danced it. I had a friend's birthday. She turned 50, my home girl. Well, it's actually my cousin's friend, but I went to the birthday party because she asked me to MC it as our hostess, and I had a great time. And when this song came on, the Massacre, trust me, when we say place done, the place done. We dance, we dance, we dance some old school dances we brought back. Like I said, if you don't know, if you even know the dance, Dinky Mini. It is a classic dance that is just so, what can I just say, so Jamaican. And it's become repopularized now through this music. So we was out there doing our version of Dinky and all that on the dance floor, and the young people looking at us, right? You know, we in that middle stage now, but the very young people, I would say, the teenagers and the early 20s are looking at us. I'm like, this is how you dance this. This is a part of our culture, right? So reaching back to reach forward, you know, it's very interesting what the Hill and Gully rhythm is producing as far as a re-emergence of understanding and awareness of mento and where mento music comes from and the history behind mento music. But not everybody is a fan of this renaissance of sorts. Let's call it that. So when I looked online in the same Gleaner, I saw recently published. Now, 2 weeks ago, they was talking about, you know, the innovativeness of the rhythm. Interviewed Mr. Stephen the Genius McGregor, talked about how he did a great job. I mean, I guess they implied. They didn't say it out loud, but it's number one on the iTunes reggae charts. So when you look at it, the Hill and Gully rhythm exists, you know, to, I think, knowledge and a respect for the foundation. And according to the Gleaner, Jamaican music has a magnificent and glorious past, which was admired by, you know, millions worldwide. Right? When we look at the takes on Hill and Gully, this is not the first remix of this traditional song, right? So, you know, this new Hill and Gully rhythm is adding a new chapter, but the controversy exists. And I have a friend who calls himself a cultural critic. He's also a fellow hostess. I listened to his take on what it was, his issue with the Hill and Gully and the song selection, not the rhythm itself, but what the selectors are saying on the rhythm has become the issue. Again, there is a lot of risque, I'm gonna put it like that, music. And again, that's a part of dancehall culture. I sent it to one of my friends, the same commentary I'm gonna play for you just now. And they were like, nah, these people, oh man, they need to get with the new thing. I was like, really? Is it that simple? You know, old school versus new school. I don't know if it, you know, is just that cut and dry. But when you have somebody of the stature of Miss Faye Ellington, if you are like me, Jamaican, and you maybe don't know who she is a lauded journalist, cultural icon, honestly. But in the same Gleaner, just published 3 days ago, so that's like what, a week and a half after the rhythm dropped, After it was released, they introduced, this for the first time. They covered it. Well, in the same Gleaner, or excuse me, this one is in the Jamaican Observer. The Jamaica Observer, let me get it right. The first article I read you was from the Gleaner, Jamaica Gleaner, talking about the new Riddim. And then now we see in the Jamaica Observer, Faye Ellington criticizes, quote, and this is the title of the article, vulgar songs on Hill and Gully Riddim. Now, she praises the genius, right, Stephen McGregor, for revitalizing folk culture, but says, quote unquote, the slack songs devalue our heritage. Do you agree? So Jamaican media personality and cultural expert Faye Ellington, according to the Jamaica Observer, is condemning several dancehall artists for what she described as a defacing of Jamaican culture through, quote unquote, the slack and the, quote unquote, vulgar lyrics featured on the revived Hill and Gully Riddim produced by Stephen the Genius McGregor. According to the Jamaica Observer, quote, this is coming from Faye Ellington. When I hear persons changing the lyrics of Hill and Gully Rider to vulgarity, it pains me. It hits me in a place I cannot explain. I get none. This is Faye Ellington being quoted by the Jamaican Observer. The specialist broadcaster for national events shared in a video uploaded to YouTube to her channel on Sunday. Now again, Hill and Gully is a traditional 19th century Jamaican folk and mental song. Now there's some good artists, I wouldn't say cleaner songs on it, I should say. Less vulgar. I love Kesteban. Kesteban has a beautiful song. Some people saying that Kesteban take the rhythm. Some people saying it's Massacre's version of the song. What I love about it also is bringing back the old school dancehall cipher, where you had one rhythm and several artists, and it was almost like friendly competition. Who did the best job representing on the rhythm? I love the fact that me personally, I love the fact that it is reviving that style of the cipher that we created, okay, that we see not only in dancehall, we see in hip hop, because we know there was a cultural exchange happening between New York and Kingston, right? Let's go. And parts of Puerto Rico as well, coming back and forth, and the exchange of, cultural confluence that produced this beautiful art form, right? The influence that comes from the Caribbean, the influence that comes from the Bronx and Brooklyn and places like this. Let's go. And what we call now the birth of hip hop. I love the fact that this style is bringing that cipher back. But this first project, fronted by Massacre's trending song Slip and Slide, has since attracted, other people. Not only Massacre we talked about, but Elephant Man is on there now. He has a good song. Some people may not agree. Valiant as well. Governor, his is a little risque to say the least. Some call it vulgar, right? Skipper and others. So according to Miss Faye Ellington, who is known for her decades of work in theater, radio, and television, she's been struggling for days with how to address this issue. Now, according to her, she said in our video, quote, me angry. When I'm supposed to know better. It's my Faye Ellington. It cannot be because you want to get some likes and you want to make some money and you want it to go wide. Yes, it's going to go wide and far, and I wonder how you will be viewed. All of you who have decided to get down in the gutter. All of you who have decided to get slack and nasty. Hill and Gully Rider. Emmanuel Road is actually how it goes, the original she's quoting. Una understand una heritage? She questioned. Drawing comparisons to the national anthem. Now, do you feel that way about this rhythm? Faye Ellington drawed comparisons to the national anthem, argued that Jamaica's cultural heritage should be treated with greater respect. She says, quote, it's like treating your anthem, hearing the instrumental version of your anthem and starting to sing all kinds of nastiness on top of it. We have gone totally over the cliff, says Miss Ellington. We are not on the brink anymore. Wow, strong words. Well, despite her criticism of some of the songs, Ellington, according to the Jamaica Observer, praised McGregor for reviving the folk classic and introducing it to a new generation. However, she maintained that the country's folk traditions and cultural identity should not be compromised for popularity or for profit. Where do you stand? Are you excited about this new revival of the Hill and Gully? Are you saying that they took a wrong take? Them go down the wrong road with it? And what they're talking about is inappropriate for the style and the type of rhythm and what it means to Jamaica's cultural heritage. Do you agree? She further called, this is Miss Faith Ellington, according to the Jamaican Observer, she further called on Cultural Minister Olivia Grange, you know, they call her Babsy Grange, to issue a public statement in relation to the matter, expressing disappointment with one unnamed female artist featured on the Riddim. Ellington warned, our heritage is not to be trifled with. And if you think it's okay to go to that level, you know, something wrong. I can hear this whole discussion. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of my brother from the hosting stage. Raul Blaze, again, he's a popular cultural critic, Jamaican cultural critic, right? He loves all things Jamaican culture, especially dance. I know he teaches dance class as well, but he has posted a video as well. And I'm going to play a little bit of it so you can hear another take on why this is damaging to the culture. And again, there are many that disagree. They say, let the music be the music. It's dancehall. Dancehall can't spoil, right? There is always this kind of undertone. I mean, you have dancehall conscious, you have dancehall, you know, for other styles. But then you do have this element of dancehall, which is about, let's loosely say, relationships, right? So is it inappropriate, or is it just a different take on what it means to those who love dancehall, right? Or, like Miss Faye Ellington is asserting here, should it be kept sacred? Is it too much? Y'all be playing too much with the culture and then devalue the culture. Is that what you got from it? I don't know, because I have been jamming to the Hill and Gully. Big up the genius. I love that there is another generation now who probably did not grow up in Jamaica, who are children and parts of the second generation here in the States and parts of the diaspora all over, from Canada to England and wherever they migrated to, who will now be exposed to some of that cultural identity. I like that aspect of it. They probably would never hear of a Hill and Gully, right? If it were not for the revival brought on by this new rhythm by the genius. But like I say, some of the songs I can't even play them right now. Let me play what Raul Blaze got to say on this matter. This is a post from Mr. Raul Blaze, cultural critic, and maybe tag him. Big up all the Twitchies and all the YouTubers. Let me play a little bit of it.
Yeah, especially TikTok, no. But for those who don't, there's been a sort of revival of this song per se, with a rhythm / beat to it. And as a proud sponsor and advocate of our culture, I fully endorse this. I've been blasting the message and the speed of which our culture is disappearing. So I'm glad that this initiative was taken. But this is where I differ. None of the songs are appropriate for the rhythm, and I'm thoroughly disappointed. You see, the thing is, dancehall already exists for the articulation of our current popular culture. And the three broad topics in that genre are now sex, violence, and scamming. And this is not a punch at dancehall. This is what it is, based on sound scan, you know, and data. If you turn on a dancehall station, there will be not one song played that does not have one of these topics, or all three sometimes. Also, dancehall a part of my life, even for one of them people who talk about dancehall born. Maybe not as a DJ per se, but me do enter JCDC or other dance competition in that area. More enough dance trophies in a dance hall. And in Japan, I find myself interpret some of these songs which are very popular among Japanese people, whether Cartel or anybody. And I found myself also teaching dancehall moves. So dancehall just part of, a part of me from very long time. Now, folk and mentor, completely different. So these topics have no place there. You see, mentor and folk, specifically, let me talk about Hill and Gully Rider and Evening Time. These songs come from an era of hardship, of singing songs to get through the day. It's how we lived through the pain, endured, and it was also our way to make the ancestors' voices, inspire us in our work and also to continue that tradition. Thus, if these genres are being used now, there should be a particular reverence to it that takes the same level of respect that any other old aspect of culture from any other country would. Even though Japanese people, one example, may be using dancehall or talking about fashion or anything modern, if somebody comes with an enka, traditional Japanese music, no Japanese person would think of putting some dancehall lyrics or anything of nowadays to it, because they're just two different genre, and it deserves to be revered.
Do you agree? Well, that's Mr. Raul Blaze. He's giving us his take. He's a cultural critic. This was an Instagram post that he made about the Hill and Gully Riddim. Well, we'll see where this controversy leads. I still see you popping online. Shout out to my Twitchies. I appreciate you, the YouTubers. I appreciate you, everybody watching on the app or online on voiceofthecaribbean.com. We'll see where this discussion takes us. I think it's important that we do talk about the cultural significance of this new dancehall rhythm. The rhythm isn't all a rhythm, but a new take on it anyway, with Stephen DeGenius McGregor reviving the Hill and Gully Riddim. Listen to it, y'all. Listen to some of the songs. Listen to the Elephant Man. Listen to the Massacre. I don't know. Chanel Mirror have a song on it too. I just saw that what's his name? Asian Zone has not been officially dropped yet, but I saw him teasing it on his Instagram as well. There's so many creative takes on this song, but again, do you think it's appropriate? Do you think it's diminishing the culture, or do you think it's building a new bridge for the new generation to know the culture? Anyway, I gotta go. I'm out of time. I appreciate you listening. The Suzette Speak Show will be back tomorrow. We're gonna discuss a little bit more Kevin Hart and some more on the politics side tomorrow's show. And thank you so much for listening. We have more music. It's an old school throwback Thursday, so keep it locked right here on Voice of the Caribbean.
Lauderdale Lakes, 96.9 FM, the all-new voice of the Caribbean.
This is the all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2. The City of Lauderhill, the voice of the Caribbean, and Just the Flex presents the annual Celebrity